Did you know that the average black family's wealth is just a fraction of the average white family's wealth? Even though that doesn't sound great, you do have the power to change that. So in today's video, we'll break down why the racial wealth gap exists and how you can start building generational wealth today. So no matter what anyone says, we know that there is a racial wealth gap. And before we can even think about like what are the solutions, what are things we can do to help build Black generational wealth, we have to go back and look at why that is. The racial wealth gap didn't just happen overnight. It is a combination of many things, such as lack of access to capital, redlining, and systematic racism. There's been discrimination in lending and housing practices that has kept Black families from being able to purchase their own homes, which we know contributes to your net worth. And we've even heard about things like this happening just as recently as last year. We've had limited access to higher paying jobs and business funding, even though there are people out there trying to make you believe that we just receive higher paying jobs due to the color of our skin, when we all know that qualifications is something that came into play also. So just some of those things that I've mentioned has caused generations of setbacks. And when it comes to wealth, it's not just income, it's what you're able to pass down to the next generation and the next one. Now, despite all of these challenges, Black families have found a way to overcome some of these challenges, and you can too. One of the biggest wealth building tools is home ownership. And even though I don't particularly call home ownership an investment, it can help build your net worth and open up the doors to other opportunities for you and your family. Owning a home builds up equity over time. And I can say for myself, the property that I own has more than doubled in price since I purchased it. So I have a significant amount of equity in that home. When I purchased the home, I bought it as a short sale. I went in with about $20,000 in equity, lost it all because of the market fallout in 2008. So I ended up being underwater. And now that the market has come back, that house is worth more than double of what I paid for it. And that's one of the reasons why I have a positive net worth. Now, if you're interested in purchasing a home, there are ways to do it. I know everyone always think about conventional home loans that have like 20% down. But first of all, there are conventional loans that don't necessarily have 20% down. I'm just putting it out there. But there's also government programs like FHA loans. And if you're a veteran, there are programs for veterans. And there are other programs out there like first-time buyer programs that can help you get into a home. And it doesn't have all the same requirements as, say, like a normal conventional home loan. You can also turn the home you live in into an investment property. So that's when a home for me becomes an investment, when it actually makes money for me. And so that's something you can do, whether or not you're renting out a room, whether or not you decide to Airbnb it after maybe you move out, or even if you're still in it and you have extra space. Also, if you decide that you want to use some of that equity in your home to be able to get into another home, maybe a bigger home, and possibly hold on to that home to rent it out and bring in income. I will also say, if you're looking to invest in real estate and you don't have the funds at the moment to buy a home, you can also look into a real estate investment trust. I talk about them more in this video here. So after watching this video, check that one out. Now, if your goal is to be a homeowner, I would say one of the things you should start doing is making sure you have your credit in order. So go ahead and check your score. If anything that's on there that is not correct, then you need to make sure you get that off. And then also continue building your score and keeping your utilization down so that you can achieve that goal. Start saving for a down payment because you will need funds to be able to move into the home, even if you do other programs. So start saving towards that if that is your goal. Don't wait till the last minute, because even if you see that goal as a few years off, just go ahead and start putting money to the side so that you're ready to make a move when the opportunity presents itself. And even though you might not be ready to make a move right now, it's a great time to start looking into home buying programs so you have a better understanding of what you need to do, what you need to have in order, so that, again, when you're ready, you can make the move. Another way to close in that racial wealth gap is investing. And I will say, like, this is one of the ways that even if you never own a home, that you really can provide some wealth to your family in the future if you start investing. Now, if you are younger and you're seeing this video, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and start tomorrow. I just did a whole investing series, so check that out, and I'll actually recommend someone, so check them out. But start investing. This is one way that you can, even, let's say you're not even interested in purchasing a home, this is one way that you can start building your wealth and really have a great return. So the thing about investing is the earlier you start, the better. Also, you have time to have your money grow over time. And I've talked about this in previous videos about interest. This is like the good side of what I call interest. It's like earnings. When you have money invested, that money makes money on top of itself and it compounds. And that's a great way to invest money, but then also possibly end up with more money than you started with. One of the easiest ways to start is if your job offers a 401k, you can participate in that through your job, but you also can open up investment accounts on your own with different investment companies. And at those other companies, you can open up either like a Roth IRA or invest in different index funds, either in a retirement or a non-retirement account, so that you can participate in the market. But definitely let that compound interest work in your favor. And if you're a person who feels like investing is intimidating, I definitely want you to go back and check out my investing series. I talk about ways you can start, but I'm telling you, just a small amount monthly can really make a difference in your life. I mean, and when I say small, even if it's just $50 that you're investing per month, that $50 can really put you on the path to growing your wealth. Another tool that you can use to build wealth is owning a business. I'm going to give a caveat though. Everybody is not meant to own a business, but if that is something you're willing to put the work into, you definitely should look into it. I will also say, while you are building that business, build a business that you can either keep in the family, but let's be realistic. A lot of times your family members or your children may not be interested in taking over the business. So also think about building a business that you can sell and bring in wealth that way also. Now, when you're building your business, those are assets that you literally can pass down to others. Or like I said, you can sell them, which will help bring in that wealth into your family. If you're thinking of building a business, definitely do some research on different funding sources. There's plenty of funding sources out there, or you can use your job as a funding source and really use the income that you get from your job to build your business on the side until you get to a point where your job, where your business is able to fund your lifestyle, but then also make money. And even if you're a person who doesn't want to be a full-time entrepreneur, I would still say that you should look into building a business, even if it's something that you do part-time. That's a way to bring in more income that you can do to build wealth and create a form of financial freedom for yourself. So sometimes when we talk about wealth, people get that completely confused with making money. And as I mentioned earlier, wealth is not income. It's really based off of what you keep and what you do with it, how you make that multiply. Now, in order to do that, we first have to start with some financial education, because even if you're doing all of these things, if you are not keeping that money and making it multiply, or doing the right things with your finances so that you don't lose your property, or you're not investing, we don't want that to happen. So it's important to learn about budgeting, learn about credit, learn about debt and how debt affects you, and learning about investing and teaching your kids about all of these things also. The more we actually educate our family and our friends, the more we'll be able to build cycles and create long-lasting wealth. In the comments below, let me know one wealth goal that you are working on this year. I would love to hear it because I'm excited for everyone who are looking to increase their wealth and close in that racial wealth gap. If you found this video helpful and you want to learn how to invest, then check out this video right here.